Hey everyone, it's Michelle Holling-Brooks with Unbridled Change here, and in our vlog this week we're talking about the hidden blocks that keep us from being able to reach our healing or our health goals that really will help us step into the life that we're trying to create, whether that's from a physical healing or emotional or a mental healing that allows us to really step into grooving with who we are. And what I often get questions asked of me is like, Michelle, I just don't understand. I'm doing everything that I can. I'm trying to let this go. I'm trying to move past this. I'm trying to be able to heal this, insert whatever you want in there. And they're like, I just don't get it. It's like there's like something pulling me back. I make choices that I don't understand, and the frustration and the pain, I can see it, and my heart just goes out to them. And in my own personal journey, I've done this too. I am doing everything that I can think of, and I still feel stuck. Well, one of the biggest hidden blocks that we work on out here at Unbridled Change and with our clients is what's called limiting beliefs. And limiting beliefs right now, especially with everything that's going on, we're really being called for within ourselves, within our communities, as a nation, as a globe, to kind of look at those things that are holding us in patterns that are not in alignment with our heart, with what we're trying to create, with the frequency that we're trying to bring within ourselves, within our personal fields, within the fields of our families, and so on and so forth. And you might have heard the term limiting beliefs before, but you've kind of been like, I don't know what those are. Those don't really make sense to me. I don't resonate with that. And that's because they're often really hidden and in our subconscious. And so it's not something that we're consciously running and saying, okay, I believe this, and so therefore that. Those ones are pretty easy to spot. You can make choices on them. You can know exactly where they came from. You can see where they're holding you back and limiting you. And so then therefore you can release them and make different choices. But the other ones, the hidden ones, the ones that are in our subconscious, the ones that we've been inherited through our genetics, DNA, it's not just how does our body fit together as a cellular structure. In our DNA, it also carries the emotional structure, the mental beliefs, and then the spiritual beliefs that are inherited through our ancestral lines, through our community, through our tribe of who we are. It's all in there. And then you can give a little bigger scope and say, you as your soul light and your soul essence, what are you carrying into this lifetime with yourself? And so it can get a little hard to find and see those. And that's where I really do believe that bringing in a practitioner, an energy worker, a guide, therapist, coach, to help hold that space and that container for you when you're discovering those is super helpful. But on your own right now, I wanted to give you some quick tips of how to start to work with these limiting beliefs and come into alignment of excavating them, finding them so that you can step into okay, I'm ready to release this. And again, like I said, a lot of times these don't make sense. When I hit these with clients, they're like, well, I don't know, Michelle, I don't really resonate with it. And then we kind of go a little deeper and they're like, oh no, I can totally see how that's running. So a really silly example might be, I'm just not a cat person. I've never been a cat person. I've never liked cats, you don't really know why, but it's just kind of always been in there. And if you kind of pull it back, maybe at some point there was a moment where cats in your family were a bad thing, and somebody created a story that they kept passing down, and it kept going and going and going. And so then all of a sudden cats are no longer something that is optimal, that you have alignment with, but then you end up with a cat, and all of a sudden you're like, well, I don't think I like you, but you're pretty cool, and maybe everything that I've been told about cats is not really true, and I can release that and step into what my heart is telling me right now, which is that cats are okay. So that's a really silly example, but the way these work is, I call them the tapes that are in the back of our head. We do an exercise with our clients that they get to fill out this sheet, and they're little thought bubbles, little voice bubbles that are all around the head of this person. And, we're kind of like, okay, write down, do a data dump of all the voices that you hear. Give me 10 negative ones that are self-talk, and then give me 10 positive ones. And so usually they can do the negative ones pretty fast, I'm too fat, I'm ugly, I'm not smart enough, I can never do anything right, life is always going to be a struggle, I'm never going to be able to actually heal, the list just kind of goes on. And I'm sure you just thought of a list of 10 right off the bat. When I come over to the positive side, I'm like, give me 10 positive beliefs that are in your system, empowering ones that help you feel good. Usually they can get like 3, and then the rest of the bubbles on the other side end up, they can't access them. They don't know how to do it. And so we work together and we're able to get more and more and bring them on there. And then the next thing that we ask them to do is, okay, where do these thoughts come from? Where do these voices in your head come from? Tell me, if you could track it, is this belong to a parent? Does this belong to a friend? Does this belong to your community and your tribe, to your nation? Like, where did this belief really come from? And this is the really amazing part, because what you start to realize is that a lot of the stuff you're carrying around within your cellular structure that's running, your body doesn't sit to question it to say, hey, is this right or wrong? Is this good or is this bad? It just says, okay, these are the laws of the land of Michelle's emotional, mental, and physical body, so we're going to follow them. And then they block you, they sabotage you in a way from being able to get to the goals you want, because if you believe that you're not good with money, guess what? You're never going to have money. I don't care how many affirmations you do, how many things are, if on a cellular level your body believes, I will never be able to have money, then you will never be able to have money. My whole family dies of cancer. Guess what? You get cancer, what's going to happen? Your body is programmed to say, my whole family dies of cancer, therefore I'm part of my family. So therefore, if I value my family, I need to die of cancer. It makes no sense to our cognitive mind, but it makes sense in our body because it doesn't know any different, and it has to run that way. So enabled to really reach the goals that you want, clearing out the limiting beliefs is a part of every journey that's going to be a part of it. Again, it's way easier sometimes to work with a practitioner who can help you see that and intuit that and help guide you to them. But we can do this on our own, And I invite you to maybe sit down, draw a little piece of paper. What are 10 limiting beliefs, now that you know what they are, that I have that are keeping me in the back of my head? If I make a mistake, what pops in? Instantaneously, write them down. If I'm feeling good about myself, if I'm in my power and I'm feeling like, oh, this is awesome, what are those thoughts that are in the back of my head? And write them down. And then ask yourself, where'd they come from? Are they inherited? And if so, where'd they come from? Did you hear them within this lifetime? And if so, where'd they come from? And then once you have that list, you kind of sit back and you go, okay, this one, I don't want to keep this one anymore. I don't want to play this one. This one maybe helps me keep myself safe, but it's still disempowering to me. So I need to come up with a better version of this one. And you can start to have a dialogue with these belief systems and say, what do I want to keep out of this? You can honor it. They kept you safe. You usually adopt these things for a reason. It's not just willy-nilly. Like somewhere in there, there's like usually a survival or a protection or sometimes trying to control something so that you can feel safe. That's why we pick these things up. We don't just do it for the heck of it. So I do want to honor them and say, like, that was brilliant. That was great. But how's it working for you now? And if it's not working for you now, how do we release it? So the one thing that a lot of people miss is they throw out the garbage. But I heard it best kind of, I think I heard it with the tapping solution, I think is where I heard it. So it's like the idea of you have a bunch of boxes that are stacked up. If you take out a box, okay, that's great, but it makes it unstable. And our bodies don't like that. They don't like to have holes in places. So the vacuum effect is another good thing to think about it. So if we take out a limiting belief and we throw it away and we say, okay, that's no longer part of my makeup. If we don't fill that hole back up, we've created a vacuum and other people's stuff can come in there and fill it. Or, we start to kind of feel like we're collapsing and we're shaky. So we don't want that to happen. So the second part of any removing of a limiting belief is going to be, we got to put something back in that hole, but we want to make sure it's one that's empowered. We want to make sure that it's one that is in alignment with your true soul nature and frequency so that it matches you, right? We're taking out other people's stuff of how it got in there, and we're going to put in something that's you, who you are. What is your frequency? What allows you to be in your power, and not a power that has to be pushed onto other people, but that quiet, beautiful strength and security that just says, you know what? I don't have to do anything with this because this is my core. This is who I am. This is my frequency. I like to call it your mojo. It's who makes you you. We want to replace it with you, the authentic, real you, the one that's not been dinged by the world and had to come up with a coping skill to survive that. We want to bring in one that just really feels all in your power. Like, I have everything that I need to move forward. I trust and believe in myself and in my guidance and in my soul's light, and so on and so forth. So again, there's two things. One, we've got to identify and become aware of them. Then you need to kind of see how they're playing out in your life and take ownership and stock of it. Once you've done that, you can release it. And there are a bunch of different ways to release that different modalities have, and how that works. It's a way bigger conversation than we've got right now. But then once you've released it and totally cleansed and cleared it, owned it, forgiven, washed it away, then we can bring in this new, beautiful, empowering belief system that is more in alignment with who you are. And then your job is to act. Your job is to say, okay, what actions are in alignment with this beautiful core of who I am? And it's my job to hold myself accountable for it. I'm not going to be perfect. You need to let that off the table. There will be moments when you go pick up that old limiting belief and you don't even realize it because muscle memory's kicking in, right? And you're responding, and reacting to a situation based off of an old tape. Your job is to be like, whoa, I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not just assuming that all cats are bad. I'm going to look at the cat that's in front of me. If it's cray-cray, I'm going to keep walking. If it's like being nice, then I can interact with it and work with it. So this is part of what working with limiting beliefs is. It really is freeing. This is the stuff that's happening behind the scenes that's holding you back from getting where you need to go. And so I love this work. I love being able to help people walk through this and free them up. So if you need any support, definitely reach out. You can click on the program links below and give us a call, and we can see how we can help you. But if not, if you want to do it on your own, drop into a meditation and journal session, bring forward where you feel your block is, and then ask yourself, what are the voices? What are the limiting beliefs in there? And then trust yourself, journal about it, write about it, and then see where you go. Sending you tons of love and light. This is what's in front of us right now. We are shedding these limiting beliefs that are no longer serving us. I know we can do this, and we can create the world within ourselves and outside that is in alignment with that beautiful soul light. Sending light and love and joy. This is Michelle with Unbridled Change. Thanks.